I actually fasted, water fasted for 15 days,
Wow.
and I dropped 21 pounds.
Oof.
You guys, 250 pounds on 5'7", I don't care how you shape, is not a healthy place to be. I was like, well, who is this brother right here? What is he talking about? A construction worker talking about fasting. I got down to 191. Oh,
Wonderland.
looking younger, having more energy. I sleep like a baby. A pandemic hits. What do? You have staff. How do you handle that? I stayed open.
Hi, I'm Chris James, and you're watching Healthy Alternative. Today we have a very special guest. Dr. Elise Jacobs is here with us, and I am looking forward to having this conversation because she actually came to our event and, well, our first event in Tennessee. She's been with us, done several challenges with us. So I'm looking forward to hearing about like what this experience has been, just interacting with AHA, definitely hearing a little bit about before you met AHA, what are the outcomes that you were able to experience and all the in between. So if you guys are interested in hearing that story, it's coming up next. Thank you so much for being here. I am very excited to dive into your story. How are you doing?
I am doing absolutely fabulous. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, my pleasure. And yeah, like I mentioned before, when I read your email, just kind of telling a little bit about your story, and you said, "Yeah, I came to your event in Tennessee," and I was just like, "Okay, that's." I was extremely excited to hear that because you got to think like we put on these events and we want people to get outcomes, we want people to reach their goals, and it is so empowering when people message us and they're like, "Hey, I went to the event and here's my outcomes. Like I'm doing it. We're doing well." So I feel like we did something right.
You did something right.
Okay.
Absolutely, you did something right. So I appreciate it.
Yeah, it's my pleasure to host you. So let's dive. Well, first, um, sometimes what I like to do, just for the because this is going to be like a long, nice long interview. I like to give people a little taste up front. Briefly, if you want to maybe describe some of the outcomes that you have received on your wellness journey, and then we'll kind of double back and we'll dive deeper.
Okay. Well, I could say one of the outcomes that I have achieved is, of course, weight loss. People look at that fat loss is that's the ultimate. It is
Hmm.
what's going to show how healthy we are, how successful we were on the journey. But I will say that my non-scale victories have been much more rewarding than even the weight loss. The weight loss has just been part of that getting on board and doing those things that I needed to do in order to reach a place of homeostasis, meaning that I really just wanted to be in balance with myself, in harmony, whether it was spiritually, physically, mentally, nutritionally. All of those things work together for that wellness goal. Those were the outcomes that I was looking for, is to be in a place of balance. And so I'm pretty much there now. And I won't say that I'm there now. I'm on that journey. I'm continuing along that continuum.
Mm,
And because if anybody's ever done this before, we know how easy it is to get off of this path and go back to our old ways of doing things. So
mhm.
that's why I call it a journey, and it's not a destination that I reach.
Yeah. You have no idea. Like I remember because I earlier you was like, yeah, Chris isn't gonna remember me. I remember seeing you in the audience during our event, and I do remember you asked a few questions. I think it was in my head. I'm thinking about the question and answer segment, but there's been so many people that have come to our events or just come to different things that we have, and I remember people's faces and seeing the transformations and seeing the improvement. It just, oh my god, I can't, it's hard for me to describe how much that means. So um let's take a step back and let's talk about where you were when you were originally looking to start making these health and wellness changes in your life, and maybe describe like what are some of the things that you wanted to see, what were outcomes you were looking for.
Sure. So I will say that some of my experiences that I've gone through in life have resulted in, I'm going to say, the picking up of weight ended up being a byproduct of some of the events that I went through from my teenage years up into becoming an adult. So I'm going to fast forward. I'm not going to go back to my childhood because that's not going to get us where we need to be today. But I'm going to fast forward even just a few years back. In 2018, I decided that I was going to leave my job. And I had a corporate position in a well known medical institution here in the South. And I took off and I went to the islands and I was there for the whole summer, 3 months. I even took my grandson with me. I went for 3 months. And during that 3 month time, I tell you, I was about 250. I don't want to just talk about the numbers as far as weight is concerned so much, but just to give people a perspective of where I was. It's about 250 pounds. I'm 5'7", and I carry most of my weight in my hips. So most people think, oh, yeah, she's not that big. She carries her weight well. You guys, 250 pounds on 5'7", I don't care how you shape, is not a healthy place to be. And it's not
Yeah.
easy to carry around.
Mm.
But anyway, I spent those 3 months on the island and I did a lot of meditation. I did some fasting and I ate low carb. I ate low carb, and believe me, in the islands, we love rice and peas and oxtails. I'm just like, but I had to go light on the rice and peas and do more of the vegetables that were there. But man, it was so wonderful. I mean, I dropped like 20 pounds while I was there that 3 months. I felt great. And just so you know, fitness has been something that I've been into from when I was a teenager, say at the age of
Mm,
14. But you cannot outwork a bad eating lifestyle, no matter how
mm,
hard you try.
mm,
Believe me,
mm,
I learned that early on. But when I left the island, I came back to the States and I knew at that time that it was time for me to venture out on my own and not go and work for someone else again. So that's what I did. My daughter and I got together and we actually purchased Healing Waters Wellness Center. And what we both liked about that is that we're both nurses and we both decided that, hey, we want to work on the preventive side of things. Now, mind you, I'm still 230 some odd pounds, so I'm still a big girl. And a wellness center, you really need to walk the walk and not just talk the talk. And I knew
mm.
that. So I said, I'm going to have to do something different. And I knew I was. I just didn't really know which way to go. So bear with me here, Chris. I want to make sure I get all of my dates and
Take
things.
your time. We here for it. Take your time.
Okay, so I don't know how I found out about you, but I knew that intermittent fasting was something that I was successful at even when I was in the islands. Low carb intermittent fasting. It helped me. I wasn't starving. I ate well. I felt good. I knew that that worked, but
Mm,
I never really did more than intermittent fasting. I mean, 16 hours was about tops. Don't know how you came up in my feed. I was like, well, who is this brother right here? What is he talking about? A construction worker talking about fasting. Nothing against construction workers because I love you guys. Where would we be without you?
yeah.
And I watched and I watched. And I think what I did was I observed. And I am the type of person that will observe things. And I observed and I observed, did some research. And I was like, you know what? People have been fasting since forever. It's not like you have to eat all day, every day in and day out. So I kind of threw it out there at some of my colleagues and even my daughter, my brother. And they're like, what do you mean fast? Not eat anything? I said,
Right.
why not? I could give it a try. So I'm gonna be honest, your very first challenge that I joined, I didn't do that well. I was kind of like, they have got to be kidding me. If you really think that I'm not going to eat anything, I did try though. And we
Mm,
already know that beats a failure, but that try didn't beat that failure. I failed at that miserably. And I think after that challenge is when you said that you were going to have your retreat. So I was like, do I really want to go on this retreat? I mean, you were right up the street from me. I'm in Birmingham, Alabama. You were going to be in Tennessee. I was like, I can drive up there. Didn't really
Mm.
want to get on a flight. I think this was right after that fiasco that happened that had
Right.
everybody scared and locked down.
Right.
I was like, I was wondering what this was going to be like. So I said, I'm going to do it anyway. So didn't do much on the first 21-day challenge that I joined, but I go to the retreat and I am pretty reserved. Um, and I was very reserved at the retreat because that's just my personality. I am a
Mhm.
projector by my human design. And I think when I went to the retreat, it really put things into perspective for me because I listened to the other, and it was only females. I think you and your brother were the only
Yeah.
ones. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I love animated male. And animated male, you
Yeah.
guys were the only males there. But
Mhm.
it was mostly females. The energy was amazing. You have some great coaches. I just want you to know they were Jasmine and Shell. Even
Mhm.
Jasmine's mom was there. She was like cheering you guys on too. It was really
Yeah.
great. But I left there with the perspective in my mind that if the people that were here could do this, there's no reason why I can't do it. So I
Mm.
was determined that I was going to prepare myself. That mentally prepared me. I'm going to tell you that retreat did. And it was
Mm.
funny that it was your first one. Who would know? And the food was awesome. I'm not a vegan. I'm not a raw food person. I was like,
Right.
oh, we're going to have to jet out and go and get some food somewhere. But I have to be honest, I was satiated. The food was wonderful. And I even eat some vegan now, even eat raw now. But while I was there, I had the opportunity to meet some people, and I still keep in contact with some of them to this day, still keep in contact with them. But when I left there, as I said, I prepared myself and I said that I am going to complete the next AHA 21-day challenge. Now,
Mm.
you can stop me at any point because I will chat you up. Okay.
Keep going. This is
Okay.
perfect.
Okay. Anyway, I took it seriously. And I think it was that June. It was sometime in the summer where you had another challenge. And I
Hmm.
actually did it. I actually fasted, water fasted for 15 days.
Wow.
And I dropped 21 pounds.
Oof. That's
Yes,
powerful.
that was powerful. Now, I
Hmm.
was fortunate because I had the opportunity to ensure that I had a true cleanse because I did colon hydrotherapy and
Hmm.
Andreas Mortis. I did read his book, and he does recommend colon hydrotherapy. And I was able to do 3 colon hydrotherapy sessions in those 15 days that I actually fasted. Now,
Okay.
what really shocked me was that I had poop every time I did a session,
Mm.
but I hadn't eaten for 15 days.
Right.
What, what, what does that say about the person that eats every day, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times a day,
Hmm.
even if they poop every day?
Yep.
Anyway, I could talk about poop all day long. You know, I'm a colon hydrotherapist.
Right.
I know I'm weird like that, but it's okay.
It's good.
And yes, it really is.
Hmm.
Uh, so I dropped 21 pounds during that cleanse. And I think I may have, and it's expected that you're going to gain some weight back
Hmm.
once you start eating. But I had gotten back up to, I think I had gotten down into the 220s by then. Or high two teens or 220s. But I kind of stayed around the 220s. I couldn't break it for
Mm.
nothing. It just seems like so what I did, which I know that's not necessarily what you guys teach, but I decided that I was going to do a keto carnivore lifestyle.
Okay.
In other words, that's still where I cut out carbs, cut down carbs. I didn't cut them out, cut down carbs. But the biggest thing I did was eliminated most processed foods,
Ah.
very minimal processed foods. And I worked out. When I tell you I worked out, I went hard on my workout.
Mm.
I was determined that I wanted to be strong. I wanted to have my muscle tone. I wanted to also look a certain way and feel a certain way. So
Mhm.
that's what I did. I did keto, carnivore, and still wasn't where I wanted. I could not break those two teams. I had a trainer tell me, he says, now, Elisha, we are going to have to get you out of this two high two teens to two 20s.
Mhm.
It just seemed like I couldn't break it because after a while, I think it's just our bodies get used to what we're doing and you have to shock it. Here comes the next challenge that I decided I was going to do. I'm fast forwarding to this last challenge. I said, I'm going to do this last challenge. I think I was at 212 by then because he worked with me. We got down. Chris, I got down to 191.
Mm.
Oh,
Wonderland.
I was in Wonderland, and baby, I was dance. Ooh, 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 dance. Let me stop being silly. I love to have fun, though. Why not? But I did. I danced, and that fast ended what 2 weeks ago. I think it's been a couple of weeks ago.
About, yeah. Mhm.
So I'm still about 195. I'll teeter between 195 and 198. But to actually be under 200 pounds, I don't even ever remember being under 200 pounds, even as a 14-year-old teenager.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm still doing intermittent fasting um, and low carbs because I do better with low carbs. And I work out, and I actually gained an accountability partner, someone who's been watching my story because I do vlog. I have my own Instagram channel where I vlog my workouts for us ladies who are over 50. If we want to get into it, we can.
Mhm.
And I gave me an accountability partner. So I have someone that works out with me now because I've pulled away from the trainer. I've been with the trainer off and on for many years. And I was like, I know I can do this. I just have to do it.
Mm.
And so that's what I do.
Nice. Man, you gotta. So I'm a very I have a very clear mind's eye.
Oh,
So as you're telling your story, like it's like I'm watching a movie. That's why I was like, I'm not gonna break it. I'm not gonna stop this. Like keep going because you're painting a very vivid picture of your experience and everything. And I think that's very helpful for people, right? They can imagine it and they could be there with you. Um, that retreat that we did, the first retreat we did, it was extremely successful in my opinion, just the experience there. But to know that it had a long lasting effect, on participants, we had people come back for our second retreat.
mhm.
That means the world because the retreats, it's like it's something we do. It's more for y'all than it is for us. Like it's a lot of work for us. It's very stressful for us. So like you have no idea because we were just talking about the next retreat. Like what are we gonna do? Are we gonna do it? Where are we gonna do it? And so this has been very helpful for me, like to know that that retreat and that interaction maybe helped spark the progress
Mhm.
that you're here to share today. And I'm definitely looking forward to diving deeper into like some of the non-scale victories and things that you've experienced because as we both know, that is way more like I don't want to say it's more important, but it's more impactful holistically, the non-scale victories, even though the scale is like the really flashy thing.
Mhm.
So what were some of the non-scale victories that you were able to achieve with this wellness journey?
Sure. This might be really just one of those things like people may think it's funny, but I'm telling you it's not funny. So, a couple of them. Me not having to have something to help me get my butt up off the toilet when it was time to get up. That I could
Mm,
just get up off the toilet and go ahead and do. I don't have to push myself up. I just get up. I couldn't
mm.
do that when I was much heavier. Now I just get up and go.
Mm,
Um, Sitting on an airplane. and not having to use a seatbelt extender.
Mm.
That is huge. And it's because, like I said, I'm hippie. So when I sat down, oh, I shared my seat and I shared somebody else's seat with me. Those are
Yeah.
non-scale victories. I remember going into Costco's on, forget what day it is, where you can go in earlier if you're a senior. They didn't want to let me in. They're like, there's no way that you're a senior. I'm like, yes, I am a senior. But they didn't believe it. They didn't believe it. So you look younger.
You're losing your benefits.
I mean, that's a non-scale victory, would you not say so? I never had that issue before with them when I
It
was
definitely
heavier.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. So some of those, and then this one here, this has a lot to this may be a little vanity, but going into the store where I get my fitness workout gear from.
Hmm.
I go in to get my regular size, extra large, and I'm like, gosh, something is wrong with these clothes. Y'all, it was in my head. Something was wrong with
Mm.
these clothes. You guys, something's going on with these extra larges. And one of the ladies in the store was like, you don't wear an extra large. I said, yeah, I've been wearing an extra large for the last couple of years. I said, but there something's wrong with the clothes. She said, try on a medium. I said, no, ma'am. I'm not going to try on a medium. I am not going to even play with you guys like that. She said, just try it on. I tried it on. That medium jacket fit. Now, I'm not going to say
Oh.
I wear a medium in the pants.
Mhm.
No, it ain't in my jeans like that. But I could
Right.
wear a large in my bottoms and a medium in the top.
Mm.
I mean, those are non-scale victories. Those are things that a scale can't measure that for you. I mean, it's for me. I don't know if it's really caught up with me yet where
Mhm.
I am physically, but my youngest daughter, I got off work yesterday and she was here at the house. She's in my closet. I have a walk-in closet full of clothes that I can't wear. I know I can't wear them, but I keep telling myself I'm going to take them in. This child had just about cleared my closet out completely. She's like, Mom, you can't wear these clothes. You can't wear them. And she's right. So that's a non scale victory.
Mm.
Looking younger, having more energy. I sleep like a baby.
Mm.
My cravings have changed because now I used to be a wine connoisseur. I don't even crave it anymore. I mean, it's people don't realize those empty calories in alcohol, they could really thwart your efforts. You can work hard and hard and hard, and then those little things, or that bag of candy, or that bag of cookies that you just want to eat, fasting really helps you to get rid of those cravings. That's a non scale victory
Yes.
to not have those cravings. So those are some of the non-scale victories that I've experienced. You can't buy it.
Mhm.
You can't buy it.
Yeah. There's no price. It's like quality of life,
Mm,
right? Quality of life experience. And these are very personal things that people know if they're experiencing it, but like if you've never experienced it, you just wouldn't know. you
mm,
know um my brother Steven talks about his quality of life, and when he was 400 pounds, he had this crazy inflammation in his forearm and his hands,
mm,
to where not only was he dealing with the extra weight, having trouble getting up off the toilet, but also wiping himself, because
mm,
he had such massive inflammation in his wrist that it was painful, right? And when it was happening at the time, I had no clue. Like, he never talked about it, of course, but
mm,
that is a quality of life thing that really doesn't have nothing to do with his weight per se, but getting healthy and getting the inflammation out of his wrist so that he could have the mobility in his hands again. So these are the type of things that need to be shared. I
mm,
I honestly, personally would prefer to highlight this type of stuff more than the weight loss. But unfortunately, the weight loss is going to attract people, it's going to bring people in. So, we dangle the weight loss, but then once you're here, it's like, look, by the way, you're going to get this, you're going to get that, you're going to experience this. And then your mental shift that you're actually still going through. Because, I mean, you've lost a lot of weight recently. So you're still adjusting to your new body and, however things are going to progress for you. Because as you've gotten rid of like the processed foods, would you also say that the maintenance, like as you get to different levels of weight loss, maintaining the weight loss has been easier for you?
It has. It has. I really place emphasis on not eating all day every day. Okay. So we talk about those things that I've done, and you name it, I've probably just about done it as it relates to trying to lose fat, weight.
Mm, mm.
I once did the OptiFast. I don't know if you're familiar with OptiFast or not.
I'm not. No.
Okay. So OptiFast is, and I don't know if it's still, if people are still doing it now or not, but it is a liquid fast where you drink a box drink like 8 times a day. I can't remember how many times a day, but it's
Okay.
like 500 calories or 400 calories or something. I lost weight with that, of course, but I was starving and
Mm,
didn't realize how my pancreas was being affected by me constantly spiking my insulin, constantly spiking my insulin. I didn't think about it back then. Even being a professional nurse,
mm.
nutrition was just not one of those things that I really focused on. Of course, now as a preventive care nurse, then of course that's what I focus on. But back then I didn't. I just thought the weight, if I lose the weight, then I'm healthy. But that's
Right.
not true
Mm,
because it's a yo-yo. You lose it, you gain it. You lose it, you gain it. If you don't change your lifestyle or that
mm,
mindset, then you end up right back where you were before because you pick
mm.
up those old habits.
Yep.
But one thing I like about your program too, Chris, is that you say 21 days. Now, I read somewhere that it takes 21 days to adopt a new habit. There's some truth to that.
Mm,
Because once you do that 21 days, I love how you do the prep. I will do a prep before I do one of your challenges anyway. I love that week long prep. But to
yeah.
do that prep before the challenge helps people. You want to just dive off into it. Oh, I'm gung ho. No, I'm just going to fast. I'm just going to drink water. And I'm telling people, okay, well, go ahead and do it. But if you try it this way, I think I probably got about 18 people to sign up for to even just get into a healthy alternative to see what people are talking about. I don't know who or if any of them have actually joined the challenge, but I'm like, at least communicate with people who are dealing with some of the same challenges in life that you are dealing with and
Mm,
some of the hurdles that they've overcome, maybe some of the hurdles that you're trying to overcome. So I like the 21 days. I think
mm,
that there is some science to that and the human behavior or mindset.
mm-hmm.
So fasting is just a lifestyle for me now. It's just what I do. I don't care if I'm doing intermittent fasting. I might do a 3 day fast. I might do a 2 day fast. But fasting is just a lifestyle for me and it doesn't bother me. It gives me that clarity that I need mentally as well.
Mm,
And it helps me to stay grounded and not be obsessed with things that are not catapulting me forward on my life purpose. And I just wonder if people even really know what their life purpose is, or do they think they're just put here to eat, poop, work, sleep, or whatever? I don't know if people really understand you do have a purpose, but I will say that the fasting game and me actually interacting with people in your group has helped me to stay grounded. And I've been doing it for a few years now, and it works. It
mm.
definitely works. Got to stay the course.
Well, I appreciate you sharing because like that's one of the biggest things for me is for people to come in. Oh, this is a great space. The energy's here. The community's amazing. We're getting results, and then share, right? Because you know, I literally just did an interview a couple hours ago, and I was telling the interviewee that my goal was to share as much as I can with an individual, and then that individual go apply, get results, and then they go and share it. That's really the way that we're going to help heal our nation, and even
Yes.
a lot of these sick countries is by sharing. I'm not looking to gatekeep any of this, so
Mhm.
learn what you want to learn, go and share it, start your own brand. I don't care, like as long as it's helping people, I'm happy about it. So I appreciate you doing that. I
Oh,
wanted to ask,
absolutely.
so you went originally you went into like traditional nursing, and then
Mhm.
you switched into preventative care. Why did you make that switch?
So I'm gonna do good as far as not implicating myself in anything.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding.
Don't
There's
do that.
nothing to implicate. So the reason why I ended up going into preventive care. So I worked as a senior director, my last job for a large nursing service in women's services here. I mean, it's like you can Google me, you'll know where I was and what I did. And in that role, I had the opportunity to serve on several different committees, not only within that organization, but within the community as well. As it relates to food deserts and serving on the executive board of the food bank, just having that opportunity to serve on committees that looked at pain management, things of that nature. Okay, I grew up in Los Angeles, spent a lot of time in the South coming up. My grandmother, beautiful, beautiful lady, she would use different herbs, clay, whatever it was, in order, she would give that to you, castor oil. I mean, it healed everything. We just
Yeah.
didn't do the doctor thing all the time.
Mm.
But I've always wanted to be in medicine. So my stint that I spent in the islands, and it's a beautiful island of Anguilla. I love Anguilla. You guys are going to have to come someday. We might have to set up a retreat there for you at some point.
Mm.
But I spent time on the island of Anguilla as a nurse as well. And in nursing there, I remember being told to go outside and pick some leaves. I think they were soursop leaves at the time off the bush outside of the hospital in the garden. I'm like, leaves. Now I'm a new nurse,
Uh-huh.
basically, from the States. And we didn't go out and pick leaves and boil leaves and give people tea for
Mm-mm.
anything. And I just thought it was ludicrous, but it worked. So all of those things were sticking with me. And as I sat in my role as the senior director, those things just started coming back to me.
Mm.
Just the holistic approach to actually providing a means for recovery, okay, for our patients who were dealing with issues. And sitting on these committees, I'm thinking, you know what? Maybe we can bring somebody in to do Reiki therapy.
Mm.
Maybe we can do biofeedback therapy. Maybe we could do some things outside of giving someone pain medication to help with managing their pain from
Mm-hmm.
today and even when they leave. These are things that I would discuss on the committee. And of course, I would be looked at like I had eyeball here and
Right.
another head here, but it kept weighing on me. And I
Mm.
knew that eventually I was going to have to do something differently. So I began to plan on opening up a restaurant. I had planned to leave my job probably in 2016, going into the 17 when I was planning. It's like I'm going to open up a restaurant because it's time. The entrepreneur spirit, the bug was hitting me. My mindset was a little different than what I was dealing with as it relates to the different committees that I was on. Now, don't get me wrong, some things are very successful. And there are some initiatives that I suggested that are even still in place today as it relates to our community. because I am a public health clinical nurse specialist as well. I have a doctorate degree in nursing, so I take what I do very seriously.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, I was planning my escape, wondering what in the world was I going to do, and that's going to end up with me in Anguilla. But I'm gonna skip through that. Um, I was going to take a job in Georgia, and I said I can work this job for about a year or two, and that would give me the finances that I need in order to get my restaurant going. I'm planning all this stuff out. I'm a big planner now. I even had a business plan. The reason why I was going to do the restaurant is because I needed the money from a restaurant. We were going to have some games here in 2022. Now, remind you, I'm thinking this back in 16 and 17.
Right.
Well, if I bring a restaurant here, 2022, in one of the areas of town that didn't have very many sit down restaurants, the money that I would make from that particular restaurant would give me what I needed in order to actually fulfill my lifelong dream. And my
Mm.
lifelong dream was to actually have a wellness retreat in the state of Alabama.
Nice.
Yes, I took that business plan to our SBA here. And I remember he was a jolly old pale guy who laughed at me. And he says, "Oh, you got to be kidding me. Alabama is not ready for anything like this." I was like, "But it's not just for the people in Alabama, it's for anybody that wants to come to Alabama." But
Mm-hmm.
anyway, all of that planning, I was planning to go to Georgia. That fell through. Now, this is crazy just how the universe works in our favor when we are in alignment and don't even
Right.
sometimes realize it. Job fell through uh, while I was in, I mean, the job fell through that I was supposed to go to in Georgia. So that's when I said, you know what? I can't go back to what I was doing because I'm committed to doing what I'm supposed to do. I don't
Mm.
really know what that is anymore. And I'm going to tell you why. At the time that the job fell through, I'm waiting for to hear back from the developer of the complex where I was going to put my restaurant. I hear back from him and he tells me, he's like, "Look, it's not going to happen." So, what
Mm.
do you mean it's not going to happen? He says, "It's not going to happen." He says, somebody basically already paid him for their spot. And since I didn't, it wasn't going to happen. I said,
Uh,
"Okay, no problem. All right." I don't have a job because I quit my job. I don't know what I'm going to do. So I took 3 months off. And that's how I ended up in Anguilla.
mm.
3 months of meditation, being in fresh, clean air, every
Mm.
morning up walking, it cleared my mind. And when I got back to the States, I had an appointment with someone who served as a mentor, love her to this day, mentor who actually owned the wellness center. Now, at the time that I was working on getting my restaurant, she was selling her wellness center to someone else. And when I got back from vacation, I sat down and I was having a conversation with her. And she was like, "Oh gosh, Elisha, you're not going to believe this. I don't know what I'm going to do." But the young lady who was going to purchase my wellness center, her deal fell through. She's not going to be able to buy it now.
Mm.
I said, "Well, hell, I'll buy it." I said it exactly like that. So can you say hell on your own? So anyway,
You can say it.
okay. She says, "Really?" She says, "You're going to buy it?" She says, "How are you going to do that and run a restaurant?" I said, "Don't you worry about the restaurant," because I hadn't told anyone that my deal had fallen through on the restaurant and the job that I was supposed to get in
Mm-hmm.
Georgia. So that started the process.
Oh.
I spent 7 months working in her wellness center to learn how to run it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm that type of person. I
Mm-hmm.
want to have it. I want to understand it from top to bottom, inside and out. The day that the deal was sealed, I had my staff, my team there waiting for me to get the keys, and her team was there. We didn't stop. Business didn't stop. I got the keys. Her folks clocked out and walked out. Mine clocked in, and we kept going. It was like
Nice.
midday. So the reason why I left where I was to come to where I am, and I'm going to say this because I'm sure some people from the organization will see this interview. I've never told any of them any of this, but I had someone in the C suite tell me that there's no room for me
Mm,
in that suite, that
mm,
I've gone as far as I'm going to go within that organization. No matter how many degrees I get, no matter how much experience I have, there's no there I couldn't go any higher.
mm.
But why would I stay there? You've already told me that.
Right.
So that was part of it as well. I mean, it just is what it is. And I haven't said that since what, 2018, and we're in 2024 now.
24.
Mhm.
Spilling
I
the tea on the AHA platform.
okay. But I will say I'm probably the happiest that I've been, and it's been tough. Some
Hmm.
days have really been tough because wellness for many people is just one of those things that, well,
Yeah.
yeah, I don't really need a colonic. I don't really need to detox. I don't, it's just
Mm.
it's not at the top of the list of priorities for most people as it relates to their being here. Because as I said,
Hmm.
most of us don't even know what our purpose is for being here.
Yeah.
So that's
The
I'm sorry. So that's how I ended up where I am. It was in the plan. I just didn't know how that plan was. We plan, but I
right.
didn't know that this is how it was going to end up. But I'm very happy with what I'm doing. I mean, it's working for me as well as it's working for my clients. And
Mm.
it is hilarious when the ones come in that haven't seen me in a few years, because this will be my fifth year. I'm going into my
Right.
fifth year. They're like, what in the world happened to you? Yeah, so that's another non-scale victory when people see you and they're just shocked. They're like, oh
Mm.
my gosh. So,
You're
yeah,
practicing what you preach. That's what happened.
that's right. I'm walking the
Yeah.
walk, I'm walking the talk, however that saying
Mhm.
goes. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's actually one of the things I look for when I work with different professionals. Even if I'm not going to work with you directly, but if I'm thinking about learning from you, like learning a technique, I look at your health. I look at what you're doing. I look at your lifestyle as best as I can, without being intrusive. But I want to know if what you're teaching me, do you do it, and what are the results? What are the benefits that you've gotten from it? Um, it is funny when it comes to like our plans and what. So you said, oh, Chris, some construction worker talk about fasting. Yeah, I was doing construction. I thought I was going to go into real estate,
Mm,
and for me, my big focus was really going to be on generational wealth for my family. Like that was like my main focus. I Health was not on my radar, but
yeah.
my grandma, she actually was like a very early age wellness coach. It wasn't like a thing like it is now. But she would at the church she would teach about herbs and different supplements and things and she had improved her health greatly. My grandma was overweight. I remember she was probably about 62 to between 62 and 64 years old when she started her wellness journey. She dropped a
Mm.
ton of weight. Yeah. She started late
Yeah.
and now she's 92 years old. You know what I mean?
Oh, I love
Yeah. Yeah.
that. This
And
up.
so I watched this transformation. I'm like, okay, she started late in the game. She's pushing 100 years old. Like, she's practicing what she preaches. It works. So I started getting sick, working, doing the construction thing. I started getting sick. And then eventually I was just like, okay, my health is important to me. Like, because when you're young, your body could take a lot of damage. You don't really care as much. Like you said, people, it's not a priority. It becomes a priority when you get sick. But I didn't want to have a heart attack. I didn't want to have a heart attack. Um, Preventative care is the only care that I'm interested in, because prevent it. Like, let's just prevent it.
That's
We only
right.
got to worry about all of the anxiety and everything that comes along with it once you got it. Let's just prevent. And I think lifestyle is the best way to do that, and really understanding how to be holistic in your wellness. So this is incredible, right? Like, and also, so you're saying like this you weren't going to make it to the C-suite level, or there wasn't a place for you, but talk to me about the level of stress though, because like you have your own business, you're helping people, you get to see that on a daily basis. Would you prefer to be a C-suite member right now?
No, sir. I am the C-suite.
You are.
I am the C-suite. Yes. Um, to be honest, I really loved what I did. I love the people that I work with, for the most part. I really did. But there was no more growth for
Mm.
me. And some people are satisfied with being where they are. Listen, I come from a line of entrepreneurs, okay? My dad's parents, they had the first beer garden here in Bessemer, Alabama. I don't know if anybody know, or Bessemer, as they like
I
to
don't know what a
call it.
beer garden is.
Oh, okay. It is just what it is. It's a garden where you sit and have beer.
Oh,
And
okay.
they are like the best barbecuers that you could ever find. So yes,
Okay.
it was like a juke joint where it was outside. It was a garden, a beer garden.
Got
And to this day, my sister in California has a barbecue joint. My
it.
mom, who's no longer in this realm with us, she's doing her thing where she is doing it now. She was an entrepreneur. My mom built a doggone resort, a hotel resort on an island. I
Wow.
mean, my grandfather, my mom's dad, he had a mercantile store in Wylam, Alabama. So, I mean, and the list goes on and on and on and on. It's just
Hmm.
it's in my genes, it's in my blood. And then the actual part of providing people with the information and the tools that they could use to reach a place of homeostasis, I got that with my training in nursing and my time spent as being a nurse in the islands and learning from them. And I mean, I know Dr. Sabi was not a medical doctor, but like the Dr. Sabi's, Dr. Ken Berry, Dr. Jason Young, I mean, I follow all of these type folks, and the list goes on because there is something for everyone. But I don't believe that there's just one thing for everybody. You have to find what works for you, and
Hmm.
it's okay to do that. So this program may not work for you because I don't know your circumstances. I don't know what situations you're dealing with, which is one of the reasons why I start off with, and I hope I'm answering your question, which is one of the reasons why I start off with a consultation with many of my clients. I don't know what you want to do. I don't know what your lifestyle looks like. But once we get there, then I can help lead you to, I don't have all the answers, which is the reason why I do send people to you, Chris. I
Mm.
don't know as much about what you do as you do, but we've got to work together. I feel like we do anyway. That's why I'm a public health nurse. We've got to work together in order to get the job done. If I see you floundering, I'm going to see what I can do to help you. But you're going to have to invite me in. I'm not the type to just go in and jump into your business. Now, what was the question you asked me since I went off on this tangent?
No, you had answered the question a long time ago.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. I just want to be sure.
I wanted to know. I just wanted to know. Comparatively speaking, you're running your wellness practice, your preventative wellness practice. Would you rather be this, in that more traditional, I guess, corporate sense, that C-suite member, or would you rather be running your wellness practice and having the impact you have now? That was the question, basically.
Okay, so I'm going to say this. Definitely, I would much rather be where I am now. But running a business is not for any and everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I will say that. I'm not saying that you can't do it. You have to be willing to sacrifice. You have to be willing to go that extra mile. Even when a pandemic hits, what do? You have
Right.
staff. How do you handle that?
Right.
Because I didn't close my business. I stayed open. I petitioned the our medical doctor here in the county and let them know that, hey, the service that I provide, I mean, people need that because if
Right.
they're stressed and they're experiencing gastrointestinal issues where they're not going to be able to go into the emergency room and sit. No, what are they going to do if the emergency rooms are packed and crowded and
Mm-hmm.
somebody's coming, I just can't poop. My nerves are bad. I'm not able to do this. I'm like, the service that I provide is it's essential. And
Mm-hmm.
they were like, you're absolutely right. So I didn't close my business. I did not provide every service that we offer. The spa services we didn't provide, but the medical services that we provide, we did. We continued that. But of
Good.
course, people were still afraid to come out. So what
Mm-hmm.
do you do in a situation like that? If you're a business owner, you've got other people depending on you to eat. So you know what I did, Chris? I took out my sewing machine. I had some t-shirts here because I press t-shirts too and sell those. I cut those t-shirts up. I put a filter in them. I put some straps on them and I made an assembly line in my house and had my staff here. We sold and made thousands of masks because
Wow.
people couldn't find them. They couldn't
Right.
get them. I shipped
Okay.
masks all over the place. So guess what? We didn't skip a beat. We still ate. Now, are you ready to do that as a business owner? Just
Right.
one
Right.
thing.
Yeah.
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 So,
And that was a curveball. The pandemic, that was a curveball.
ooh, baby, did it throw one?
Mm.
Oh, it threw one. And it took a while for people to rebound, but I think they're getting it now. I think they're getting that. Hey, I need to take some measures now to keep myself out of the way of the next one that may come along. So,
Mm-hmm.
in my opinion, because I've spent almost 30 years as a nurse, okay? In my opinion, medicine should allow, I'm going to wait a minute. Allopathy medicine should allow homeopathic medicine to complement what it does.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
That's just in my opinion because I've actually been on both sides.
I think that that's more than just your opinion. I think it's blatantly obvious. And I think that the fact that we don't do that to the point where if you're an MD, you pretty much look down on other types of doctors that aren't allopathic. That speaks to a systemic issue,
Yeah.
a cultural issue. Because like if we go back, man, 100 years, there it was common. You would go to the chiropractor, you would go to the acupuncturist, like
Mhm.
you would go to these other practitioners. It was normal. You go to a herbalist or whatever, and they were able to pretty much snuff those practices out to the point where people think they're quacks or whatever. When those are wellness practitioners, right? Like there's a difference between healthcare and wellness.
Absolutely.
They even back then, like the MDs, they had look trauma. You got shot, stabbed, hit by a car. That's needed. But but
Absolutely.
but how did we just eliminate a whole half of the healthcare system and start demonizing them or making them? You know what I mean? It's just that there you go.
It's the
There you
money.
go.
You follow the dollars. Follow the
Hmm.
dollars. Yeah, but as I said, I'm going to fulfill my purpose. And right
Hmm.
now, my purpose on this earth in this particular realm that we are in or dimension that we're in, I won't even go into that because I know that's over some folks' heads, is to provide what I'm providing.
Mm-hmm.
Every single thing that I've gone through in my life up to this point has prepared me for this.
Mm.
And so it's important for me personally to take my wellness seriously, because it's like you said, how are you going to tell me to do something and you're not even doing it? Why should I even believe you? Why should I follow you? You're not even doing it. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
people have witnessed my transformation. They've gone through it with me. Yeah, I get teased sometimes at work. Oh, you fasting again? Oh, you're fasting again. I'm like, don't worry about it. Just don't cook anything in here today, okay? But I mean, yeah. So far, my journey has been exactly like it was supposed to be. I didn't realize it. Even the things that I felt like, well, why am I having to go through this? I had
Mm.
to go through it in order for me to be where I am today, to be able to help someone else, which is the reason why I got personal and I
Mm.
shared it, many things, because I know somebody else is dealing with something similar, or maybe
Mm.
know someone that is.
Absolutely. Yeah, and there's people that are struggling with life. There's a current. There's an energetic current, right?
Mm,
And we are innately taught that you're supposed to flow against the current, like fight the
mm,
current. And it's like, no, just go with the current, the natural energy. There's a path that is correct for you, and just stop fighting it. Allow, you want to do this. I know it's over here. I got it. I understand that. But just go with the flow. You might find that not only do you end up where you want it to be, but you get there in a much more seamless manner. Or as you go through your journey, you find that you really didn't want to be there, and you're much happier where you are now. And that was definitely my story, you know.
mhm.
So
Definitely mine too. Yeah.
probably many people's story, like we don't know sometimes we don't know what we need, you know.
Because we go along with what we're programmed to go along with. I
Right.
even think back, Chris, with just the way that we're taught, even in school. Let's just take our educational system. How is it that every single person is taught to think or solve a problem the exact same way,
Yes.
when you know that there's more than one way to solve a problem?
Yes. Mhm.
Something as simple as that. But
Yeah.
you're programmed, and when you stick with that program, that's when you have depression. That's when you have sadness and you have anxiety. I'm not saying that you'll never have any of those things if you still go along with the current, but for
Mm.
it to be just your cornerstone, your lifestyle, you, you don't have to go along with what you were programmed to do. You can change this. You can
Hmm.
actually alter your DNA, but that's a whole nother story.
Oh,
You
you sprinkling.
listen, I know we don't have that long, but I mean, literally, you can change yourself.
Hmm.
You can alter this journey.
Yep.
That's why there's so many different paths that are in life. There is no just one straight path. It's not enough room for everyone to be on that same path.
Hmm.
Do your thing. But I'm going to tell you, you don't have to stuff your mouth all day long, every day. Fasting it really opens up a person's mind to think outside of what they were programmed to think. I know we like
Right.
to say out of the box, but we all got the same lesson. And I don't know how much the school system has changed since I was in school. How much has
Hmm.
it changed?
I mean, based on my experience with school, it hasn't. I mean, it's when you say change, not for the better, at least. If the change that I had noticed is worse changes, which is that doesn't make sense. You've got all of these very intelligent people and all this money and funding and all these boards and everything, and it's like we are not making progress in our school system. Our children are ranking very low in everything, and then on top of that, we've got all these diseases. When I was in school, we had the special there was like special needs children,
Yeah.
maybe they had a wheelchair, they had like a
Mhm.
bone disease or something, but cognitively they were all there. Now you have all these children with these cognitive issues, and it's like, no, things are just getting worse. Um, yeah, I'm not a huge fan of the education system. I love learning,
Yes,
because I'm a teacher, but the specifically the education system needs to be really like redone.
I agree.
Uh, I read a book. This guy wrote this book. He was a school teacher for, I don't know, like 40 years. I'm
Mhm.
gonna see if I can find it real quick. But he was basically talking about his experience and how he would win these awards, like Teacher of the Year awards or whatever,
Mhm.
and he didn't feel like he was doing anything to help the children. It was like he was being praised for a job he wasn't doing,
Wow.
right? Being in the school system for so long. Um, weapons of mass instruction.
Mm.
Oh my goodness. I believe that is the book. It was so good. I believe this is the book, y'all. Weapons of Mass Instruction by Jonathan Taylor Gatto. Yeah.
That says a lot.
He's a school teacher. He's in the system. So don't listen to I mean, I was a student. I had my experience, but this was the man educating. Like, go read that book and you'll see what's going on with the school system. It's terrible.
Yeah, I think that we've got a lot of work to do. I'm just one little me, you're one little you, but we're going to do what we can do to help get as many people on board with that same mindset as possible, and each one teach one.
Yeah.
That's just how I look at that. So yeah, the world needs some changing. America needs some changing. Alabama needs some changing. I mean, it's a story that I could talk about on and on and on. I mean, my mom has a book, and I know we kind of getting off of course, but my mom wrote a book, and I have to finish editing it so that we can go ahead and get it published, finish the
Hmm.
publishing. But the stories that she told about what she went through in the 60s and the 50s living here in Alabama, as much has changed here, there's so much that's still the same.
Mm.
And it's kind of like, come on. That's
Yeah.
like 70 years ago. What in the world? But I'm going to do what I can, though, Chris. I am.
Yeah.
And I do want to thank you and your crew again for helping me along this journey, because it's not the end and it's not the last time you guys are going to see me either, just so you
Oh yeah,
know.
you come back. Yeah.
I am.
Listen, um, your testimony is all the thanks we need. Like it really means the world to me. And I know we're all of our coaches, we're all in alignment. It's really how we like. That's what feeds us. Like I'll be honest, um, money is important. We have to have money,
Of course.
right? Got to have money. But if let's say that I had a wellness brand and I didn't help anybody, but I made $1 million a year, I would probably quit.
Me too.
I couldn't, and I think I see that too, like with nurses, like RNs and
Mhm.
different nurses that are working with people, and it's like they're just it's just sick care.
Mm.
They're not really able to help people, or I've had a lot of nurse friends. One of my nurse friends, she had started getting into like more health and wellness, and she was learning some things. And I'm like, "Do you suggest this to your patients or whatever?" She's like, "I can't. I'll get in trouble." And I'm just like, what?
Mhm.
It was like, so I have to help people. Whatever I do, I gotta help people. It can't just be about money or anything else. It's gotta be about outcomes. And we certainly appreciate you coming and sharing your story and being so open, because our platform is one of those spaces where people get very genuine and candid. And I think that's why it resonates with so many people. I do want to give you an opportunity to share your we're your well. If you want to share your wellness practice, I'm sure someone's listening from the area, so you can give details about that. Any Instagram, any YouTube, anything you got, share it. Books, programs, whatever you got.
Sure, thank you. Yes, as I said, I am here in the city of Birmingham, Alabama, and my wellness center sits right in the heart of the medical district. It does, yes. We and I have a large clientele of medical professionals of
Mm,
different degrees of medicine profession in medicine.
okay.
But it's hard for me to pinpoint exactly who my avatar or my client is because it is a variety of folks. And I get people from Mississippi, um, Florida, Tennessee. The furthest that I had, I'm going to tell you this story. The furthest that I had is a young lady from East Africa. And I forget what country she was from. But she came to my place because her family flew her in. They knew of me. She had
Mm.
not had a bowel movement in 27 days.
Oh,
27 days. She was the color of alabaster or the color of this sign back here, the background when she came in to see me.
mm,
She went through 12 treatments of colon hydrotherapy. She was the most beautiful mahogany sister when she left me. Now, I couldn't
wow.
understand her. I couldn't understand her language. But she told me in English before she left, she says, "You are my sister." So
Mm,
I'm right there. Yes. She finally got relief. And the thing
nice.
is, those are the types of things that really make what I'm doing worthwhile. So we
Mm,
provide colon hydrotherapy. I do have a medical director on board, even though I am an advanced practice nurse, being a clinical nurse specialist. I still have to have a medical director on board, which is fine. She's wonderful. We also provide the ionic foot baths, detox. I have a
mm,
far infrared sauna. You know, saunas are amazing as far as it relates to you detoxing and sweating those toxins through your largest gland, your largest organ that's on your body, which is your skin.
right.
You know, some people in the medical world believes that your body doesn't need help detoxing. I'm like, okay, y'all could think that. But I know I know differently. We also provide lingam stings. Do you know what a lingam sting is?
No. Mm-mm.
So your lingam is in your base chakra. And so we provide people an opportunity to do yoni, vaginal, and lingam stings. The lingam is for the male.
Okay.
Oftentimes, yes, oftentimes, we get of course, a lot of females come in and have them done.
Hmm.
But what they don't realize is that you end up with a UTI or a yeast infection, you get it taken care of, and you end up getting it again. Your partner still has it going on.
Mm,
And so, believe it or not, there is an herb on this earth that that is grown for every ailment that we have. We just don't know what they are.
true, true,
But
true.
there's an herb for everything or a plant of some sort. So we put together herbal remedies for our clients. We don't cure anything. We just put
Of course.
together herbal remedies for them.
Hmm.
And we allow them the opportunity to absorb the properties of those herbs. I also do what's called computerized biofeedback. And the great thing about biofeedback is that that could be done remotely because I have clients all over. They're not just here in Alabama. But biofeedback therapy, oh gosh, was invented back in the 60s, 70s. And it was a NASA scientist that came up with this particular program, excuse me, that I use, and it provides your body with an opportunity to retrain itself. Like if you're dealing with anxiety or you're dealing with some other issues that your muscles are impacted, biofeedback therapy can help you to see those areas in your body that's experiencing either acute stress. In other words, that's something that just all of a sudden happened. Because if anybody knows, any dis-ease that we have is usually a result of an organ or an organ system experiencing some type of stress. We
Right.
don't always know that something is stress. So biofeedback helps us to see those areas that are experiencing stress, whether it is acute or chronic, and then that may help you know why you're having certain symptoms. And then it also provides you, as I said, with some retraining. So that's biofeedback. We also do provide people with some esthetician services. We have a licensed esthetician on board that provides facials and waxing services. And then we help with body contouring. So when you lose the weight or you're trying to get a little extra help, we have some tools to help you to actually reach your goal, reach
Mm.
your goals. So we're excited about what we do.
Yeah, you all do a lot. It's like a one-stop shop.
Yes, it's a lot of fun too. We have a lot of fun at work. We play really good music when you come in, and we believe in essential oils. And so we're going to have essential oils going in all of our rooms because we do
Mm.
know the power of having an environment such as we do. And
Hmm.
it's all of my kinfolk. I don't typically call us family because I'm going to let you guys look up the actual definition of family. But
Okay.
I want you to look it up. Uh, but my kinfolk, that we all work together, and it's just a good environment that we're in, and that's what we want our clients to share in as well when they come in.
Okay. So there's a possibility that I may be in Alabama fairly soon
Hmm.
this year. So uh, I want to do the ionic foot bath for
Okay.
sure. Yeah.
Okay.
So I'll reach out to you once I know, once it's confirmed. I'll reach out to you so we can set that up.
Absolutely. We would love to
Mhm.
have you. And
Yeah.
then as it relates to my social media, I do have a couple of social media pages. My personal one is Instagram is at Dr. J Helps, and that's DRJHELPS. That's my personal Instagram. My TikTok might be the same. I don't know. But I'm mostly on Instagram. And then, of course, it goes to my Facebook page, which
Yeah.
is my name, Elisha Jacob. And as far as the business is concerned, it is Healing Waters BHM. And that would be for Instagram, Facebooks. My daughter's going to get me because they're the ones that do the social media stuff for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll post it. We'll post the links and we'll post the all the information. So don't even worry about it.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. My
So
pleasure.
that sums me up.
Well, listen, this has been quite the visual journey. Like, just being able to walk with you on your path and understanding the benefits that you got, especially the non-scale victories, and then just seeing how things have played out for you, just hearing your story and how someone could have easily taken what you went through and really put a negative spin on it and allowed it to throw them off their path or make things more difficult for themselves. Whereas you just rolled with the punches and you just kept moving forward. And that's me too. That's how I am. Like, things are going to happen. They're not going to go exactly the way that you planned. However, that ability to pivot is the key. Like, when life throws you that curveball, boom, you got to pivot. Okay. So,
It's resilience, is what it is.
mm, yeah.
Yes, that you have resilience. You better be.
Gotta be. Whether you're
Yeah.
doing business or not, whether it's just your health and wellness journey. Because, my brother John has experienced a lot of issues, ups and downs on his health and wellness journey. And I have to say that his resilience is off the charts. Like,
Mm,
so impressed with him. And he just won't give up, you
good for
know?
him.
So, yeah.
Good. Yeah. It's too much. It's too many people in the give up space. I don't like crowds like that. Let me
Uh,
just keep it moving, baby. Keep it moving. No, don't give up. Don't give up.
don't
It's
give
just too
up.
much for us to do. This has been
Hmm.
so much fun. I didn't think it was going to be fun. I was all nervous. I didn't know what I
Oh,
was
you're a
going
nerd.
to say.
Yeah. That's how it always is. As I don't. So many people are like, "Yeah, I was so nervous, Chris, but this was fun." Listen, I'm just a normal guy having a conversation. Like it's good. But I appreciate you coming out, spending this time with us. For those watching, if you like this video, please hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, subscribe. I don't know why y'all haven't subscribed if you haven't already. Subscribe. And as always, the application of knowledge is power, and I will see you all next time.